Sam, thank you for joining me today on Pop Culture Unplugged.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Exciting times. I know you've been busy because we've been trying to get this interview for the last few weeks now. We're finally here.
Yeah.
We have the viewers that tune into this interview. They can see you on the 90s show on Netflix. You've been busy. Would you say
Yeah, I've
that?
been pretty busy. Like the second that we wrapped for season two, I went straight into rehearsals for this Shakespeare play that I was doing.
Wow.
So I like to be all over the place. If one thing ends, something else has to happen. I gotta be go, go, go all the
Right.
time.
That's not a bad thing though.
No, I think it's a blessing and a curse because I don't like to rest, but I always need it.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna jump into this show in a few minutes too. But I like to get to know my guest a little bit more too and everything, with the whole entertainment industry and everything. I was doing some research on you. And I one of the quotes that you've given out that you're proud of your first generation Filipino American. Tell us
Mhm.
a little about that. Well, like, and what influenced you to jump right into the entertainment industry? Like, what made you go for this?
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of fell into uh being a professional actor. I had
Okay.
only really done theater productions at school.
All right.
I and being a professional actor was always the goal. I just always loved performing and the arts. A singer too, and I did a lot of musical theater, like community theater when I was a kid. And I went to a performing arts high school because of that
Yeah.
love. I really wanted to grow that because it's my passion, it's my art. It's the thing I want to do for the rest of my life. But I got in the open through the open call of that 90s show. I was
Okay.
answering a flyer. It
Wow.
said because they were looking for teenagers, so I think I casting sent out this casting notice to all of the art schools in the greater Los Angeles County, mine included. And it was all like, "Hey, we're looking for teenagers. Um, we're doing a talent search. Send in an introduction video." It's more like a slate, really,
Mm.
of hey, tell us your name, your age, where you're based, XYZ. And I just sent 5 minutes of anecdotes. I was just talking. And it was like, one thing you like about the 90s. And I was all like, I like the pants. And it's like really just cheesy things like that. But I just kept on getting auditions and auditions and auditions. And I feel lucky have um to have being a Filipino and representing my community come with just the exposure of the show.
Mm.
I as the show grows, the Filipino representation also gets a light shown on it a little bit because just because of inherently who I'm very proud to be first generation because
Mm.
that is a fact of life that has informed uh crucial parts of my identity.
Mm.
And it's my family, it's my culture, it's my people. So I've always been proud of that. Also because growing up culturally, the arts are very important in Filipino culture. Like if there is a family function, everyone will be either singing, playing the piano, doing karaoke. Like you have to show off a little bit. Like show off what you learned in arts classes because there's at least in my family, there's just a very specific emphasis on the arts and how
Mm.
important it is. And
Is it
I just kind of put my foot on the gas and
keep
took
going?
it another I just took it and ran with it because all of my cousins, we all have played piano, all of us play an instrument of some sort, but I'm the only one to pursue it as a career so
Mm.
far.
So
I feel
far.
like there's a couple of us who are also going to be performers, but they're a little too young
There
to
you go.
know.
What's been like your family's reaction seeing you, performing or even just, being on a show on Netflix? Like, what's been their reaction with this?
So much pride.
Yeah.
I feel I'm very lucky to have to have such a supportive family.
Mm.
I was telling you earlier I'm in this play or I was in this play. We just closed last night actually.
Wow.
And it's free Shakespeare in a park. We it, we donated our time and they donated this production to literally anyone who wanted to watch it. It's making theater accessible to communities that don't really receive Shakespeare or live theater. Uh, so my mom told me, actually, she texted me recently. She said, I am so proud of you, whether it be free Shakespeare in the park a um or a worldwide hit on
Mm.
Netflix. I'm so happy you get to do this.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
so it's like I'm happy if you're happy, and that is the best thing that is the best gift.
Mm. So you've done theater, you've done acting on TV series, you've done the singing. Like, is there something on that bucket list of yours you want to try to tackle next?
Oh, I mean, I've always wanted to do like single cam. I've always wanted to do a movie. But honestly, I feel like every single type of acting is something that I want to delve into.
Mm.
I will never tire of theater because there's no way to do it um monotonously, I think.
Mm.
And there's no way to do it there's always a million ways that you can take theater.
Mm.
Same with TV and film. It's a little more straightforward, but um I guess bucket list wise, I've always wanted to write. I've never had the chance to. I'm a
Okay.
songwriter. I've written some original music, but I've always been too scared to write something of my own, like screenplay or script wise. But it's always something that I've been interested in. But I also
Mm.
really like directing. I'd always wanted to
Okay.
direct.
Mm. There you go. Now you got to start
I
getting over
know,
those.
I
You
know,
got to start getting over those fears.
right? Um I feel like I'd be a better director than writer. I just need to find a writer,
Mm.
like a writing partner, and then I'll be their director if they don't want to direct. Like that's what I need.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, so let's jump into the that 90s show now. Like, first of all, like, did you think that season one and the show was gonna blow up like that when you first got
Um,
on it?
I had no expectations for how this entire process was going to turn out because this was my very first professional gig. I was
Right.
16. I was a junior in high school. I was still in a brick and mortar school. I'd never done homeschooling before either. So and honestly, I still today forget that people watch the show.
Mm.
To me, it was like, oh, this fun thing that I did over the summer, and now it just lives then. But I forget that people have seen it. Um, so, but then actually the other day at Starbucks, I got recognized, and I was like, that's crazy. I didn't know people watched the show. So I'm just very grateful for how everything's turned out because we put so much hard work into it, and everyone on the set in the cast is so lovely. And during season one, they were like, everyone said this is gonna blow up, this is gonna be big, and I was like, okay, I'll believe you.
Uh,
Yeah, it's great. Like because I love the show and I think it's so hilarious. I just thought that it was like an inside joke for us, like we like it, and that's
uh,
all that matters.
and you must have known, like the fans of that 70s shows were gonna tune in to watch this.
Yeah, oh, 1,000%. That's what's cool about 90s is that we have such a large audience and fan base because there was a built-in fan base. But
Mm.
we also get to tap into the younger generations who did not grow up with that 70s show or didn't have the chance to watch it and just expand that 90s, 70s show universe
Right,
and
right.
fan base. Yeah.
What's been your experience now working on that 90s show, like playing the role of Nikki?
My experience, I mean, I've always just had such a grand time. I love Nikki. Uh I feel like I've become her best friend over the
Yeah.
course of this whole thing. Like I would always talk about the season 1 finale, and when I first read that script, I was heartbroken. I was ready to throw hands with Nate. I was so mad. I was like, how could they do this? How could he do this to her? I'm just very invested in Nikki and who she is and all the relationships that she's creating. So I think she's very unique, but also at the same time very relatable to a lot of teenagers,
Yeah.
and especially her journey through discovering who she is as a person outside of school and also pursuing the academic side, which isn't something you see a lot.
Mm.
And people just showing how there is strength and um like I admire her so much for being so academic. If
Yeah.
that makes yeah.
It's funny because I wrote down here also like how do you think like this character? How would you describe the character's journey now, season one, now heading into season two?
It's like honestly, it is so wild. Am I allowed to do spoilers in this?
You can if you want. I'm not planning to release this till closer to the premiere date.
Have you seen it?
I have seen only like the first two episodes, so,
Got it.
so we can't talk that much about it.
No, I can't talk too much about it. Got it. So, um, I love Nikki's character arc this season. It
Hmm.
is so unique, not unique. It is so um detailed, I guess. We really get to delve into Nikki and who she is as a person because you kind of just barely skin the surface season
Hmm.
one. I think it sets her up really nicely for how deep we go into her story and her development. Uh so if we were to choose like season one, season two Nikki, I would go season two Nikki all the
Uh,
way. 'Cause she is a force, and that is all I'm going to say. I think she
yeah.
changes the most
Mm,
out of all of the characters, which is
yeah.
so interesting and fun to discover and play as an actor.
Mm. And you mentioned like if Nikki was like, a real person you'd be like best friends with, or like, is there anything you
Yeah.
would change about Nikki if you could?
If there's anything I could change about Nikki, actually, in the first season, sometimes I'd be like, she's so mean. Like, girl, you're so judgy. Calm down. It's okay. Just spread love. But I kind of love her sarcasm and her witty quips. So, and because she's so quick with it too. I honestly no. She's perfect to me, but I'm biased.
You mentioned mean and everything. Any like challenges playing this character? Any certain scenes that hit you and you're like have to like think about it, how you want to play a scene or
Yeah, there are some moments where um I struggled and I have to ask Gail,
Mm,
the director of part one, because I mean part two, because there's part two and then there's also part three coming out in October, and I got to work really closely with both Gail and Laura, uh, asking them, hey, how do I play this? Because Nick's really vulnerable in this moment, but it's also a comedy. How am I supposed to juggle that? Because
mm,
Nick, I think, has the most just a lot of dramatic scenes too that air more on the heavier side of content than
mm,
like a butt joke, you know? um she has some pretty real issues. So that a teenager needs to work through. So it was all my time during season two was all how do I toe the line between like dramatic acting and also keeping it light and still appropriate for a multicam sitcom. That was
mm,
my struggle because I love comedy, and I mostly have done in the past more dramatic things
mm.
like theater wise.
Right,
I've
right.
always to delve a little create really complex characters, I guess, and that air on the more dramatic side of things. So
Yeah.
I really needed help with my comedic timing and my comedic chops.
And you mentioned you said working with Gail, right? Is that
Yeah.
what you said? So,
Mhm.
like at the same time now, did you have an opportunity to even like you providing input, like how you wanted to play a certain scene, also like with Nikki, like how you wanted to bring it to life?
I think that there were moments where I would also ask Greg
Okay.
Metler, the showrunner, of like, oh, can I say it like this instead? Because in my head,
Right.
I feel like Nikki is a little angrier than the line is saying. Like, can I
Mm,
say but they're like minor changes, like
right.
then instead of than. Like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like very tiny things, but to me as the actor make all like a a really huge difference.
Mm. What goes through your mind when you're reading the script and you see what's happening with Nikki? How excited do you get?
I get so excited. I love receiving new scripts
Okay.
also because I am very invested in this friend group, in this story,
All
and
right.
I just feel like a consumer. I just feel like an audience member being like, "Ooh, what happens next?" You know what I mean? So I just am so whenever I see a Nikki scene, I know that it's gonna like hit me at my core, and then I work on it. I have the weekend with it before we have a table read, and
Mm.
the table reads are always just so energetic and electric.
What's been like the feedback from like fans about you playing this role, or even like family members when they see you as Nikki?
Yeah, oh my gosh. So I've gotten a lot that like Nikki's their favorite character. I love Nikki.
Yeah.
She's so grounded. She's so relatable. Um, because she does represent like your average American teenage girl
Mm.
of like, yes, yes, I've got a friend group. Yes, I've got a boyfriend. Yes, I can do all this, but I also need to focus on like future. I
Mm.
don't know what my future looks like, and I really have to hone in on that. And I relate to that too because I went through the college application process, and that was like, oh my gosh, the worst time of my life because we have to look at it was so many applications and you're so stressed of like this one moment is going to define what the next 4 years of my life and probably the rest of my career is going to look like. So I got a lot of feedback of all like I love Nikki. I love that they showed that. I love that they didn't shy away from that topic. And my family is always like they I'd walk into family functions and they'd be like, "Hey Hollywood, hey Nikki," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
That's
They're
awesome.
they're all so excited and
Mm.
so proud.
As playing a character in the 90's now, like what's your favorite thing about the 90's? Have you seen something that you're like, oh my God, like this happened in the 90's, you can't wait to film it, or
It's all for me, it's really just the fashion.
yeah,
I get so excited when they pull me in for a fitting because I know
okay.
it's just gonna be me trying on a bunch of vintage, a bunch of thrifted stuff. And that is where my heart lies. Fashion wise, I love to thrift. I go to a lot of flea markets, junk fairs, like things like that. I'm a knickknack junkie. I love
We can find
little.
gold there. That's what it is.
Yeah,
You
right.
never
I was literally at the thrift store not an hour ago. Hey, I'm obsessed. It's a problem.
yeah.
But that's what I love about the 90's. I there's no and also the music. I've
Mm,
always loved 90's R&B. Lauryn Hill is one of my favorite artists of all time.
uh,
My that was inherited from my mom because she like gave me her Miseducation of Lauryn Hill CD. She she's the one who educated me on 90's music because my mom's a 90's kid.
yeah.
And so I'll say the music and the clothes. Those are my favorite things to also reference in the show.
Have you and the cast made like a 90's playlist or anything like that?
Uh, no 90's playlist, but Ashley and I have made our own Spotify playlist of just random songs we like. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's called Sam and Ash because I drive her home from set a lot.
Okay.
So we're always bumping that playlist.
Yeah, yeah. But so season two, we're almost there. What are you hoping for like the returning fans to watch this? What are you hoping they get out of season two? What could you tease a little bit?
I just hope that no, I just know that they're gonna fall in love with the characters more.
Yeah.
I want them to focus more on us. It's like selfishly because in season one, I feel like there was a lot of focus on the cameos to also like retain the That 70 Show fan base. But now in this season, you're really delving into the relationships between all the kids in the basement.
Yeah.
So I feel like the audience is going to connect more with us because you just have more time with us. You get to know
Mm.
us better, which is so exciting because uh I think we're pretty great.
Were you kind of bummed though that you heard that this season, there were going to be that many cameos as the first season?
Honestly, I loved all of the cameos that we had this season.
Okay.
Every single person who came on the show and showed up They were so lovely and so talented, giving us their time, and I'm just so happy with how season two turned out.
Mm.
It's genuine. It's so good. It's so 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 good. Every single script, I would be amazed at how you could keep on. Each script just kept getting better and better.
Mm. And you said it's broken into three parts, right?
It's broken
Is that
into two parts.
two
So they kind
parts?
of renamed season one part one.
Okay.
So now season two part one is now called part two, and
Okay.
season two part two is called part three.
All right. How many episodes are you
You can't.
expecting? How many episodes are we expecting for this for the first drop?
8 episodes, 16 total in season two, parts one, two, and three.
Yeah. Is there a specific episode that you can't wait for the viewers to watch that has to do
I
with your
can't wait
with your
for them
character?
to watch. I think it's episode, I can't remember if it's, I think it might be episode 8.
Okay.
So it's 7 or 8. It's a cruel. Nick has a crazy, crazy storyline there. Like that is, oh no, no, not 8. I think it's 7. Episode 6 or 7. One of those, because episode 8's the last one. I totally forgot. Um, it's a, I wish I could say more, but there's like
Right.
huge shift in Nick's life, and she like has to really step back and reevaluate like what she's been doing.
Hmm.
And it's a wild one, and I really want to. I can't wait to see what people say about it.
Amazing. Last question on the 90s show. Do you have a favorite Nikki quote?
Oh, it's oh my God, Nikki quote. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast this morning. I don't remember any. Um. Oh, it actually made it in the trailer, which I was so happy about. It was it. You're right. This is childish, immature, and it's using my body for spite. Okay, I just talked myself back into it.
There you go.
I feel like
So
that was so iconic of her, and I love it.
that that's awesome. So do you have anything else coming up next no for you now that you're allowed to tell us about working on, or you
Mm.
just
I'm just gonna say that I am going to be a part of a really cool project, and
okay.
I don't know how much can say
We'll
about
have to
it.
get you back on the show then, so we'll talk about it.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm gonna be part of something really big, or just really cool. Really big to me. Doesn't
Right.
have to be big to anyone else.
That's awesome.
But it's like a big deal for me, and it's like a really huge step in my career, I think. And I'm so excited.
That's
So, so, so.
awesome. Well, speaking of that, then how can the viewers and the listeners find you on social media, keep up with you, and when you break the news, they'll see it.
Yeah, it's just my name. If you search up my name, Sam Morelos, on anywhere, I feel like I'd pop up.
All right.
My
Sam,
handle, my handle is like Morelos Sam. It's just backwards. Yeah.
that's awesome. Sam, I want to thank you for giving me a few minutes today. Good luck with the new season, and can't wait to hear what your next project is. We'll get you back on. We'll chat about that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.